You know me, right? I'm Dan Frampton, all one word, the O's a zero, and I'm the internet's most ruthless gatekeeper, so you're probably thinking that I would hate an artist like Yungblud. You probably think that I have nothing but vitriol and criticisms for a guy like Yungblud, but that isn't really the case. So today, we're going to go through the newest Yungblud story that's been circulating on the internet for the past 5 days or so, but I've just been doing other things and haven't had a chance to talk about this yet. So today, we're going to talk about the Yungblud situation because this guy out here is getting so much hate, so much heat is directed at this guy from fans, from journalists, from other bands and artists and that sort of stuff. And Yungblud posted a video of him crying, melting down live on stage, sharing these kinds of feelings. So today we're gonna go through the situation and I'm gonna give you my take on the whole matter. But before we do, I want to tell you about a couple things. The first thing I want to tell you about is my comic book, issue number 1 and 2 of The Scrupulous Moshman, available right now at moshman.bigcartel.com. And I also want to tell you about liking the video and subscribing to the channel. I'm a big fan of those things. And if you're on mobile, go down to where the comments are, do 2 little swipes or whatever, and see if it changes to a hype box or whatever, and if you have hype points allocated, you can send them to me. I know it sounds very confusing. I have no idea what any of it even means, but alls I know is the word hype is very cool. I enjoy the word hype, and this channel is not hype right now. So maybe with your help, we can boost this little channel out into the algorithm and get some hype going. God damn, that would be great. There is no hype over here, not by a long shot, but maybe you guys can make it happen. But this is basically what we're going to be looking at right here. This is the video that Yungblud so courageously shared to the internet. This is him emotional, breaking down live on stage in the middle of a concert to his people, to his family, being extremely vulnerable and emotional. So before we go into his caption and my opinion and the take on this whole sort of thing, let's just watch the video, shall we? And see it from the man's mouth himself. Roll it.
Lately I have felt so disconnected from everything. I have been trying my best to wake up every day. I have felt in pain a lot and I don't know why for a long time. But every time I find your faces, every time I find your eyes, every time I look at you, I know that I belong somewhere. And to feel safe from the outside world is something that I can never thank you enough for. And all I want to say is that this is your family. If you are ever scared, if you are ever frightened, if you are ever threatened, we will be there. I will fucking be there for you.
So there you have it. We got Yungblud just letting some emotions rip on stage. And you might be asking yourself, why is this guy so sad? Why is he so emotional right now? Why is he crying all over the place? Why does this mean so much to him? Well, basically, this guy, Yungblud, was thrust so heavily into the spotlight 1 year ago. Ozzy Osbourne invited this guy on stage during Ozzy's last performance ever to do a version of Changes, and it changed his life completely. This was a whole amount of fame just heaped upon Yungblud, And in a lot of people's eyes, this fame was all brand new. This guy was all brand new. They didn't see the struggle. They didn't see the growth. They didn't see the Machine Gun Kelly days. They didn't see all those ugly sweater days back in the day. You know, they didn't see all the COVID live stream cringy ass fucking videos the way that I saw them. All right. Now, back in the day, I might have been a little bit of a Yungblud hater, just because of his association with Machine Gun Kelly and the Travis Barkers of the world. But as we sit here today, all these years later, after the whole Ozzy Osbourne torch has been passed to him, I'm actually on Yungblud's side. That is a heavy amount of shoes to be placed into. This is Ozzy Osbourne, the Prince of Darkness, the inventor of heavy metal. Ozzy Osbourne is basically the Beatles of music, and he just gave Yungblud the keys to the castle before he died. So a lot of jealous people are going to be like, why Yungblud? This guy's not rock and roll. This guy's no Prince of Darkness, you know? So a lot of people were a little bit confused about Yungblud being the figure to be thrust into that position. And I was one of those people, to be honest. I didn't really understand why Yungblud, but when you hear his version of changes, absolutely bone chilling, okay? It is an incredible version. And there's also the UK connection, and I don't know what's in the water over there. I have no idea how they were connected. But if Ozzy knights Yungblud with the Sword of Darkness, then who am I to say, right? Who the hell am I to go against the grain like that? Yungblud's been chosen. Yungblud is the guy. But he faces a lot of heat online because of it. So many comments come into this guy from so many different angles. It isn't just one sector of the music industry that sends all this criticism towards Yungblud. You got fans, you got journalists, you got bands, you got other artists, all sending hate towards Yungblud. But Yungblud's just doing his thing. He's putting out records, not really the best records of all time, but that's just my opinion. His music is connecting with his fans. This guy over here has a community. Now, if I'm going to look at this in a microcosm, I'm going to look at this kind of from my perspective. Now, I'm not really a public figure, but I do have an audience. I get sent a lot of hate every fucking day because I say my opinions and I'm a little bit boisterous, and my whole presentation is kind of designed to get that kind of reaction. So if I just focus on those people, it'll feel like that's my entire viewer base. But there are moments where I see my community out here, where I see the people that actually rock with the channel, that actually rock with my message, that support me and my whole endeavors over here, and you feel that. They talk to one another in the comment section. So when Yungblud gets up on stage and he gets to physically see that community with his own eyes, he gets to see that connection, he gets to feel that connection with real people in a real space, in a real room, then yeah, I can imagine that he's gonna have an emotional boiling point. And I think that's what this was. Because he gets a lot of hate from all sorts of angles, and then getting all of this love to counterbalance all of that in the moment, that's gotta have a really heavy feeling. So we are going to read his caption to this over here. Because if you thought the video was emotional and vulnerable, wait till you get your hands on this caption. Quote, "Warning, truth incoming. Please read the full caption." Honestly, I've been debating whether or not I should post this clip because I don't want it to feel disingenuous, like I'm doing it for a reason like clicks or personal gain. He means personal gain, but it's okay. But at the end of the day, this is what happened and it's genuine, so I thought, fuck it. Beautiful. Absolutely. Not a single comma or period to be seen. The grammar needs some work, but the lack of grammar makes it feel more emotional. The lack of grammar makes it feel like he's typing this from a really authentic place. And I have no problem inserting proper grammar here, diving back in. To be truthful, oh, this sentence is awesome. We got a period and a comma. Maybe I spoke too soon. To be truthful, recently I've been really struggling, and this moment is a byproduct of my body releasing the wave of emotions that has hit me in the past year that I've been unable to process. I'm not gonna lie to you, when I got off the stage, I felt elated, but 20 minutes later, when I was in the shower on my own, I had a breakdown. Being an artist in this day and age is so strange because everything moves so quickly. Okay, the grammar is pretty bad, not gonna lie. This is difficult to read. But I am going to continue. You never get to sit with what happens for more than a couple hours. Therefore, you fail to navigate or process anything you feel, both good or bad at all. This is impossible to read. Oh my God. But I gotta say, the lack of grammar is really refreshing. This guy did not put this into ChatGPT. This is a very raw and emotional statement that I'm having an extremely hard time reading aloud because the sentences just kind of all run together and I don't know where one starts and one stops, but it's very authentic. In the past 10 years, I've been on a million different journeys, tried a million different sounds, trying to figure out who I am or what I can mean to the world every day whilst the world shouts back. Like, I get what you're putting down. 100% I understand the message. For sure. The amount of hate and disbelief around me from strangers on the internet or bitter musicians really weighs on my heart, as all I've been trying to do for the past 10 years is spread love, build something I believe in, and unify people in a safe space. And you know what? I'm behind all of that. I care about all of that more than I care about grammar. I care more about authenticity, vulnerability, individuality, and all the virtues that he just said here, like spreading love, building something you believe in, and unifying people. I appreciate all of that stuff so much more than grammar. And also, I appreciate this stuff so much more than all the hate that he's getting. Because yeah, I like to criticize people when they deserve it, right? But when a real, genuine, hardworking soul gets passed the torch all of a sudden, and he's not afraid to be vulnerable like that, I think that also needs to be recognized. Everybody's so quick to jump down the gun when there's something to like talk shit about, and that's fine. That's part of my job, you know? When there's something to criticize, I have to make a video. I'm in the business of takes. And right now, so many people have takes about this Yungblud situation. So even though I don't feel negatively towards him, and even though I don't really want to criticize him in any way, there is some criticism to go around. It's just not towards him. Now, if you don't like his music, that's fine. I don't like his music, but I'm a very particular kind of person with a very particular taste in music, and some people might call me a snob for that. Fair enough, I say. But just like I said earlier, all those things that I care about more than being a snob, I care about more. Authenticity, genuine realness, genuine rawness. I love that when it's out there because it's so rare, especially with guys that are as famous and as big and have as much eyes on them as Yungblud does. So that's pretty sick. The statement continues. I really should say nothing about this because it makes me seem cooler and like it isn't affecting me. But deep down, I don't think that's who I am or why we all connect with one another. He knows that it just seems cooler to be like, nah, it doesn't affect me at all. But here's a video of me crying. Beautiful. Diving back in, I read an article yesterday morning. Man, he really should have reread this once. I'm sorry. The grammar is a little crazy. I read an article yesterday morning that felt validating to me. It's strange because the press don't usually like to compliment me. Writers and influencers get more clicks out of negativity around me. I don't complain about it because I think that's just the space I take up for them. That's the kind of artist I am, and that's the way of the world. Now that is a very self-aware thing to say. Imagine more artists knew this, that this is my place right now. I have my audience and I have my haters and I'm just gonna do my thing. This is a moment of deep realization for Yungblud. And it says continued in the comments, but it's not here. But I know it's on the phone. The statement continues. Sorry, I'll be looking at my phone as I read it. This article said, quote, Yungblud isn't an industry plant. The internet just missed the grind. This made me feel happy. I think when things appear to happen so quickly and you get millions of eyes upon you that didn't know you existed there 2 hours before, of course it feels unbelievable. Of course it feels disingenuous. Of course it feels inauthentic. I think that's why I'm so grateful to have all of you. We relish in a journey together that started nearly 10 years ago in a 100-seater venue upstairs in Amsterdam. I think this is why I got so emotional when I saw 20,000 of you in a field on a festival. We started from scratch 2 years ago in the UK, and now it's first international year. Dude, that's massive. This is a victory lap. This guy knows, or at least he should know, that he should be secure in his own little ecosphere that he has, his own little community, his own little bubble. And I think he does. I think he's like, okay, I'm safe enough to show the outside world that I cry sometimes. but also the outside world needs to see his 20,000 fucking people concert that he's bringing international over here. These are numbers you just can't deny. He's undeniable at this point. Diving back in, we've been moving so fast that I haven't really been able to process anything at all. But in this moment, my emotions got the better of me. I needed that. Thank you for providing a space that makes me feel safe enough where I could express myself truly. This community is created by us, for all of us. I think the most beautiful thing about this festival is that we built it. This place is a house that is ours. Here, I feel like I'm standing in front of my girlfriend or my mother. I can't hold it in. I can't hold anything back. I can't be professional. I can't hide. Right now, deep down, I know I need to do a bit of work on myself to process everything I'm feeling and attain the strength I need to keep going at this pace as we move into another chapter together. I feel good about the next couple months before I hibernate and take time to prioritize that work. To all my beautiful community reading this, I just want to let you know how lucky I feel to have you all. This day reminded me of why I do this and how special what we have is. I love you with all my heart and I am truly thankful. What an honor it is to spend this life with you. If you're a journalist reading this, please don't twist it. This is how I feel. And I'm no journalist, but I do cover situations on the internet, and I took that last line to heart. I'm not gonna twist it. I'm gonna read the entire thing in full. And that's what I just did. Even though it was extremely hard for me to do. Not from an emotional standpoint, but from a technical standpoint. But just because I'm a nerd and I appreciate the written English language doesn't mean everybody else needs to be that way. If you're just trying to get an emotional thing out there, you can just do this. You don't need commas, you don't need periods. One sentence can turn into another, and that's okay if you have an audience. And this guy has an audience, for sure. And this emotional message that he's sending is more resonant than any of the missed periods or comma or lack of legible grammar in this whole statement. And again, I think that's another level of vulnerability. To be able to put something out that's so amateurishly written and to be able to just stand on it, be like, I don't care about how poorly it's written. This is how I feel. And nobody's giving him shit about how it's written. No one's being like, I can't read this, dude. Because most people on the internet, when they're writing stuff, this is how they write it. This is really how people talk on the internet. And I think that it's very cool that Yungblud found the courage in himself to be able to come out here and do all of this sort of stuff. Tell the world how he feels. I hope that this is like the closure that he kind of needs to close this chapter of his life and be like, all right, haters, do your thing if you want. That's fine. Make your little videos, make your little articles, do your thing. But I'm going to exist over here with my little community, if that's okay with you. Oh, it doesn't actually matter if that's okay with you, because I have it and you don't, and you wish you did. Na. So, good for Yungblud. Okay, and that's going to be the end of the video. Remember, comic books, moshman at bigcartel.com. All right, see you later.